Well, hello everybody. My name is Michael and this is December of 2022. I'm going to set up an auto-scaling group on the AWS cloud platform. And the reason why I mention it's December 2022 is because AWS frequently changes their cloud platforms. So what we see here may be different when you're viewing it someday in the future. Anyway, for working with the AWS cloud, it's assumed you do have access to the cloud portal. If you don't have access to it, I'm logged in here. If you go to aws.com, they will get you all set up. So they're having their reInvent right now during December, and it's pretty cool. It's the end of the year and they go over all the new stuff that they did. It's amazing what they're doing. If you don't know how awesome the cloud is, you need to check it out. Anyway, you sign up here at the console. You need a credit card to sign up. But I'm working with some students, and we are part of the AWS Academy, and we were working with FileZilla here, uploading things to our web server up in the cloud using FileZilla. But I've deleted those, and we're going to go on to a new project today. So for our auto scaling group, basically the way it works is you set a minimum number of instances, and each instance is just a server, and a maximum number of instances that you'll scale out to. And the whole idea is you have a core desired capacity, and then if you have more demand, it can scale out, and when the demand goes away, it scales back in. We call that elasticity or scalability. So the maximum size here you'd see would be 4. The minimum size would be 1. You'll never have less than 1, but typically you'll have 2 running. So we'll set up something like this. And then when we're going to go do this, you're going to need the account, as I mentioned. There's a free trial that's available. And once you're logged into the console, on the services console, you go to compute. So why don't we go do that? And I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to go to compute. And then what we want to do is we want to go to EC2. So EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud Compute, or Elastic Compute Cloud, depending on how you see it. Probably is the Compute Cloud. And we're going to make Linux or Windows instance. We're going to work with Linux today. But we are going to back in the old days, they used to use what was called a launch configuration. If we go here, let's go find our console, we can see that there is auto-scaling group. They have launch configurations. But look here, this is December 5th today, and you see here at December 31st, they're going to phase out these launch configurations, which is good because in its place you have this, where is it? Launch template. So the launch template's way better. Ooh, it looks like I have a few of them. I'll have to get rid of some of those. But look, let's not worry about any of that. We are going to go to launch template, and we're going to create a launch template. And how about we call it, I don't know, my demo auto scaling template. Okay. And we're going to call this version 1, and we're going to click the box that says provide some guidance to help us as we make the template here. So let's just move this here, and we could just go and say launch new template. And what do you think? We'll give it a name like my, how about auto scaling demo template. Okay. Now the whole idea of the template is you're going to make extra machines, and so they're going to use the template as a guide. So if we have 2 machines, they're the same, and if we need another one, it'll use this template. Everything we put in this template will become part of the new virtual machines. This is kind of what any company would do. Ticketmaster, if they need more virtual machines or servers, instances as they're called, but they're big, powerful servers. But if they need more of them, they just use their template, and it'll spin up more of these servers, and they'll all be identical. Okay, so here let's just call it version 1, and provide guidance here. And the tags are optional, but we'll give it a tag. And we're just going to call it name. And how about we're going to call it, I don't know, my ASG is auto scaling group demo. Okay? Template. So these names are kind of nice because they're actually really template. They're really useful because they get put into your the metadata, the internal data of everything, and it winds up being useful like for descriptions. Okay. Now the next thing we see here is that we need to choose an AMI, Amazon Machine Image. So if we go back here, we see there's actually a whole library of them. So if we go here, the very first one is the one you're most likely going to use, the Amazon EC2 one. But you know, there's Mac, there's Red Hat, there's SUSE Linux, there's Ubuntu, there's Windows. Okay, so we're just going to stick with this. This is Amazon Linux. It's not Ubuntu, and it's not Debian. It's their own sort of breed of Linux. So we click on Select, and eligible for free tier. That's important because I'm using the free trial here. And then for instance type, this is what we're going to include in the template. So we do want to tell it it's going to be a T2 micro, and we do need a key pair. Okay, so for my key pair, if you don't have a key, I have some, but we could make one. So here I'm just going to go, how about I'm just going to call this demo ASG key. Okay, so we're going to make this key. Watch this. When I hit create key pair, it goes to download it. Okay, so I'm actually saving all of these so I know exactly where they are. So I want to go copy that one, and I have a folder here that has all of my keys. So if I go here, AWS keys, I'm just going to go paste it right there. That way I'll know where it is, and it's in my downloads folder too. Okay, so we're going to use that key, and then for the network settings, we could include that. For what I'm going to do, I'm not going to bother with that. This part, though, is more important. Your security group, we could use an existing one. I have a whole bunch of them, and they're like little mini firewalls. But just to show you, we can make a new one, and how about we just call it my demo ASG group. Okay, so ASG is auto scaling group, and then a description. Well, you know what, that's not a bad description, so let's copy that one. And here, okay, now the next one, we're going to use their default VPC. Now I have built some VPCs, which is a virtual private cloud, but for our demo we're not going to use that because it's just going to make everything easier. And there are some advanced network configuration. We could put more storage there. We can add more volumes. We don't really care about that, but this part's important. Now you're going to see there's lots of features. I'm not going to go into all of these. It's not that they're not important. They are. They're great. Amazon keeps adding more things over time, which makes it more useful. But down here at the bottom, where I clicked here, where it says additional details, there's a place here we can do what's called bootstrapping, and we're going to put in user data. Now I didn't mention this, but you do need to have a script, and somehow I guess up on YouTube I'll put this script here. But the script we're going to be using here is just my typical hello world. What this does, it's going to all this part will turn on HTTP and put on what's called Apache Web Server. And then this will change to this HTML directory where our web page is called index.html. But we're going to overwrite it, and it's going to say hello world, and it's going to have the name of our server. Well, if it was Ubuntu, it would give us the name. But since this is Amazon Linux, it's actually going to give us the internal IP address. But we are going to copy that here. And I can close this now, and I will paste this here, and there we go. So this is going to be part of my template. Okay, so every single, I'm going to have, I don't know, 4 or 5 virtual machines. Every single one will have this template. Okay, so as we'll see here, really that's kind of part 1 is done. Okay, there's our script and everything. Part 2 is going to be go to set up our auto scaling groups. So here what we're going to have to do is we're in the EC2 instance part of it. We're going to set up a new auto scaling group. We're going to give it a name, some kind of name. And we're going to choose the template that we just made. And we can choose a VPC that we have, or we're going to use the default, like I said, for this demo. And we're going to choose an availability zone. Now, I'm in North Virginia for my region. I'm not really in North Virginia. I'm living somewhere in Europe, but Ireland to be specific. But we are going to say that we are in North Virginia, okay? And North Virginia is cool because they have 6 data centers, which they call availability zones. So by doing this, we're going to have high availability, which is what you want, lots of uptime. So here, let's fix a little typo there. What we're going to be doing is we're going to choose a bunch of different subnets there. You'll see that. We're going to do a health check. The health check is important because what the health check does is we're going to have all these servers up there, and they're web servers, and they're part of a cluster, which is a group of servers all working together. And then you're going to have sort of a front end that's called, I don't know, call it a listener, call it whatever it is, but basically, actually the load balancers would have the listener. We're not really putting a load balancer here. If we were going to do this perfectly, we would go and have a load balancer and integrate it, but that's for another day. But for this, we're just going to have the autoscaler. And basically what's going to happen, though, is the demand will get distributed among all of these. But if one of the servers becomes unresponsive, then we stop sending, there's all these clients looking for web pages. We can stop sending requests to that server, keep sending it to the other ones. Finally, if that one's considered to be sort of out of the picture, we get rid of it and we spin up a new one, okay, to replace it, okay? It's kind of like if you have, co-workers and somebody's like really, really sick and they can't do their job. You go, okay, you go. You're not part of the team for a while, and we'll get somebody else to kind of, because you need somebody to keep doing the job, right? So anyway, the next section is the heart and soul of the autoscalers, where we choose the minimum number instances and the magic, and the maximum. Now, when I talk about the magic that makes this work is this scaling policy. So let's go look at that right now, right? We're going to go here, and we're going to go to EC2, and we're going to go down to autoscaling groups, and you see here it talks about the autoscaling group, kind of like what I have, and explains it. And I appreciate Amazon's doing all this, because back in the old days you just clicked on stuff and you had to figure out what you're doing, but they're actually making it really, really user-friendly. Amazon, thank you so much, okay? Appreciate that you're doing this. You're making it just so much easier. And you explain what fault tolerance is, and you explain availability, and that's the name of the game. We're going to integrate this with CloudWatch, okay? We're not going to do the load balancing today, but the CloudWatch will be really useful, and I'll show you once we turn on the CloudWatch, it can help us monitor our auto-scaling group. So we're going to click right here where it says Create Auto-Scaling Group, and we will give it a name, and how about my demo ASG, okay, ASG, okay, how about you want capitals? We'll give you capitals. So, we need a launch template. Oh my goodness. Should we create one? Oh wait, we already made one. Well, if we didn't, we could use this one. But since we have one, we are going to call it it's one of these. My auto-scaling demo template. That's the one. Version 1. And see, now the reason why they give you the spin box here, the refresh box, is if I didn't already make it, if I were to create it now, it still wouldn't be in that list, so we can go and refresh, and it would add it to the list, okay? So anyway, we just go hit next, and we are going to, this is good, we're going to put it on our VPC, default VPC, but what's cool here is we have all these availability zones. Hey, why not just check them all? Why are we doing this? Because each one's a data center, and now all of our servers are going to each run in lots of data centers, and that'll give you better availability. So we're going to stick with that, and we are going to click on next. Now this part, if we had an elastic load balancer, which would be really handy, we're not going to bother with, but if you did have one, you could integrate it. Now here's our health check. We usually want 3 minutes, 300 minutes. Sorry, 300 seconds is 5 minutes, but we're going to put it down to 30 seconds. I wouldn't recommend this. Why are we doing this? Because we're going to put some stress on this. We don't want to wait 5 minutes for it to respond to the stress. Now we're going to go enable group metrics collection within CloudWatch. That's really good. And I'll show you how to use that. And now we're going to go click next. And this is very important here. So our desired capacity, oh, no, we don't want 9. How about we say we want a minimum of 2, minimum of 1, desired of 2, and maybe a maximum of 5, okay? And when we stress it out, we might be able to get 5. So here's our target tracking policy. And what we're going to do here is for this average CPU utilization, a target value of 50% utilization is probably pretty good. But since we want to stress ours out, we're going to put ours down to 30. Now, obviously, in the real world, you probably keep it at 50, okay? But we're doing this as a demo. I have another little script here. This one's going to put some stress on it. And so we're going to apply a program called stress. We're going to put a bunch of stress on it, and we're going to try to get it to give more of our instances. And we're going to watch the autoscaler do its autoscaling is the whole idea. We click on next, and you could have notifications. And every time it starts and stops a virtual machine, or instance as we call them, it could send you a notification. And you know what? I don't want them. But there are times you would as a network administrator. Okay, so we just go click on next. We can put tags, and these tags are going to be, I think, for the instance. So I could just go ahead and put in name. And then how about, I'm going to put ASG demo instance. I think this is the instance tag. Pretty sure it is. Unless we run into another tag up above. But I'm pretty sure that's it. So this is looking good. We need to make sure there's a security group here somewhere. Pretty sure we have that. This is looking good. Create our auto-scaling group. So if we go back, while that's cooking, we can see we gave it a name, and that's where we are. We created the group. We're going to go back to the menu, and it's going to take a few seconds here. But what we should see is that I put that script in there, so we should see a little website. It's not a real website, but we can make sure it displays in the browser, and then we could try to give it a little stressing. Okay, so let's go back. We want to go here to services, and we're going to go to compute and EC2. And we click on EC2, and we see there's some instances running. So we click here on instances, and now you see I got rid of the other ones, but these are the 2 ones I made. It looks like they didn't put, I was hoping, see, they're from my auto-scaling group. I must not have put a instance label on it. I wonder if I can still do that. Let's go back here. We don't really need this. I'm just looking. My template, view details. Oh, doesn't matter. Who cares, right? What I was going to do is I was just going to say, you know, it's nice to have them labeled. There is a way to put a label on it, but look, if you want to, you could just go here and just go demo instance 1. Okay, and now we're going to go to this one, demo instance 2. Now the reason why this could be useful is because we are going to, oops, click into there, demo instance 2. We're going to spin up some more, so you're going to see these 2 will be the originals, but then we're going to see a few ones, and we might even delete one of these and see if we have some more ones come back. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to look at our state. We can see that these are still, those are running, but they're still initializing. So we could go and refresh, and they're still initializing. Okay, don't worry about these terminated ones. They'll go away eventually. Now, one of the things we see here is that it has a public DNS, it has a public IP address, and it also has a private IP address somewhere. Well, we'll look at that in a minute. This public IP address is cool because that's how we're going to attach to it through our browser. Okay, but now let's go. We want to wait for it to be done initializing. Tell you what, I'm going to pause the video for 30 seconds or something. Okay, I paused for about 2 minutes. You see one of these has come back, the other one's still initializing. So let's go to that one. That seems to be our number 2. If we go here, we have an IP address, and I'm going to go into a browser tab, and guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to paste it into the browser tab. Why would I do that? To see if we have a website running. Come on, website. Let's go back here. It says it's running. Going here. Go to there. Now it says they're both running. So the website should be showing up. Let's go try the other one. Come on, website. This one's 54147. We go paste that into the browser, 54147. Come on, web page. Do you know what I think the problem is? I think there's a problem with the security group. I was noticing that when I was making the instance. So let's go take a look here at security. And what we see here is, oh, well, somehow we got the original security group, but not this security group. So there's our inbound rules. And really what we would like to do, this has my demo security group. That one somehow, something looks funny here, folks. Let's go to our launch template. And our launch template was my auto-scaling demo. So we're going to go click into there. And we need to check a couple things. Looking for the security group. So there's our details. There's security groups. So it's got this security group, SG, ends with D8. So let's go into our security groups. The one that ends with D8. So that's this little guy here. And if we look here, I was sure we had set the inbound rules. So we need to go back here. Let's go add a rule. And the first thing we want is for SSH on port 22. And then we also want to add a rule for HTTP, because that's what we need for our website. Okay. And we have to add a CIDR block here, and we have to add a CIDR block here. In case you're wondering what that is, that's the network. It just helps. There's an internal router. So let's go save our rules there. And let's just go here. There, now we can see it. So that was the problem. So let me show you where I went wrong when we were creating this thing. We went here, folks, and where I was setting up my template, right, on launch template. I won't go make this through, but I want to walk you through this. Where we went wrong was we had gone to here for create security group, and I did that and I didn't follow it through, and I did not add the rules there. This is where you add that rule for the SSH, and this is where you add the rule for the sorry about this. This is going to be, let's go add another rule. It's going to be HTTP. So I apologize for that. Maybe it's just as well this happened, because now you got to see the importance of the security group. Plus I showed you how to go back in and fix it. Okay, and now I'm not going to actually make that security group, so I can go back to EC2, but where did I go to fix that? All I did was go into, that was in my launch template. So if some of you are troubleshooting, this might help you. So under instances, there's launch template, and in my template I was able to go look into my template and see which security group I had used, and I get the name there. If you want to, you could just copy that, and I always keep like a little notepad here, and you can just paste it into your notepad. So we see the number there, 583D8, and then you can always edit your security groups. So if we go back here, somewhere around here says security groups. Where are you? There's lots of stuff here. There we go. So we go there and we find that one here, and we went and we could edit that. Okay, so what you see here is we got our website, which is really cool, but that wasn't the main thing I wanted to show you. We do have two different servers, so this is 172.317.3.177, and this one is 132. So we can see that they're different, but what I really want to show you is go back to our instances. Wait, we don't want that. We want to go back to instances, which is going to be here. And now what we see here is we have these two instances, and these are left over from what I was doing earlier. They'll go away eventually, but look, we've got instance 1 and instance 2. Do you want to see if we can make another instance show up? Let's go log into, say, instance 1. How do we do that? If I click here, I can go click on connect. And when I click on connect, I'm logging on as EC2 user with this address. I just click on connect, and if everything goes according to plan, we will establish a connection and we will be up in the cloud. Now, then what I want to do is give it a little bit of stress. So I have this. I can maybe put this into the somewhere. I'll give it to you, but basically sudo amazon-linux extras install epel y. So I'm going to go here. I should put it into a script, but I'm just going to go and copy, and I'm going to go here and paste. I'm going to run that little command there. So basically that's bringing down some extras. It's kind of like little update kind of things that we bring down from Linux repositories. Now sudo yum install stress. We are going to run a program called stress. You've maybe heard that song back in the 90s. Talk about stress, baby. Let's talk about stress. Now the next thing we are going to do is going to send it some hogs, they're called. So we're going to give it some CPU stress of 30 hogs. Oops, undo that. Hang on. 30 hogs for 60 seconds. Okay. What's a hog? It's just the name they use for these little CPU workers. So now we just go ahead and we can just, I don't know, paste it. Come on, little guy. There we go. Now we're going to give it some stress. Ooh. Come on, dispatching the hogs. Come on, let's see some stress here. Now, let's go back out to planet Earth. Let's go here to EC2. Let's go look at our instances. So we've got two instances. Come on, come on. Now, I said that you'd be able to do a little bit of monitoring. So if we go out here, hang on a second. Somewhere is some monitoring, but what we can do is click into our instance here, And there's a little monitoring tab. And so what you can see here is CPU utilization. And let's see what it's doing. Come on, show us some stress. Now we're going to go here. There should be a little refresh thingy. Come on, I want to see some stress. And let's go back to our EC2 dashboard. Go back to our instance. Still just 2 instances. Come on, I want to see some stress here. Let's get some stress. So let's go dispatch a few more hogs, huh? Come on. We want our stress. Okay, those other ones went away. We still only have 2. I was hoping we get a few more of these. Because we said running 2. I gave it some stress. It's just not getting all stressed out. Okay, well look. Sorry folks. I was hoping the stress would do the job. That these hogs would go go wild here. But let's see, what else can we do? Let's go look at our auto scaling group. We can go into here, and I think there should be some monitoring. I thought they had some basic monitoring in here as well. You definitely have it there on the instances. Only 2. Okay, hate to disappoint you. Look, you're looking for action. Here's some action. What we're going to do is we're going to go here. We're going to go delete those 2 servers. Oh, look. It just bounced back up. There is definitely some stress. Maybe I should give it a little bit more time. Come on, let's see some stress. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm changing my CPU to 60 stress and time to 120. Come on, I want to see some stress. So let's go back out to the console. It's going to take at least 30 seconds for it to do anything. So we just go back to our instances. Come on, we want to see some stress. Oh, look! There's our instance 1 and 2, and there's another instance pending. So what's happening here, folks, is we set a minimum of 2, actually a minimum of 1, but a desired of 2, which we have. Now, if there's more demand on your busy website, and 2 is not enough, it can scale out and give you 3. And if there's still more demand, it can give you more. Let's see if it gives us more. Well, we can definitely see it's scaling out. It's initializing there. What I was going to do is I was going to delete these. Now, if I delete them, watch, they're going to come back. But maybe I won't have to. You can see the auto scaling is doing its job. This is enough as for a demo for me. If I'm a teacher here, if you're one of my students watching this and you want to see how to do the stress for my assignment, if you did this, I'm happy. You get high marks, okay? So listen, I think I'm going to end this video. Well, what we could do, you're probably wondering when that's going to go away, right? Let's go look here. I gave it some stress. It looks like it's still giving it the stress. We'll know when it's done, right? Because the command prompt will go back to normal. So let's go see for this to go back to normal. Okay? Now, what we can do here, while we're waiting for that, we can go, this is where we applied the stress on number 1. We can go back to the monitoring. Oh, you could see there's some wild stress. Okay? Definitely, you could see where it went down to 0, go boom, hey, I'm busy. Okay, so what else could we look at? Go back to instances. Got 3. Go back up to the cloud. Okay, we see that that's kind of done running. So what we could do here is, I think the stress is going to go away. So we should see one of these start to go away. Okay? So which one's going to go away? That's a good question. But one of them's got to go away. So I just keep refreshing it. See, this one's still initializing, so it's not going to go away anytime soon. Okay? Not going to go away anytime soon. Now, it doesn't have a name, obviously, because we didn't put a label. I typed these in. When you go to make these, there is a place. Put in all your labels there. For my next demo, I'll make sure to put in all the labels. But listen, folks, we got to see the auto-scaling working. We see that this is initializing. There you go. If you really wanted to, see what the couple things we could look for if we had more time. What I would look for is this to eventually go away, but that could be another 5 minutes. The other thing I could do is delete these two, but since we still have 1 and we have a minimum of 1, it might take us a while. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to end this demo, and just to quickly review, what we've done here is we have set up an auto-scaling group, and on Amazon console, you set up the template first, and once you set up the template, make sure you include your security group rules so that you open up port 22 and HTTP port 80. So since I didn't do that, I had to go back later on. So if you forget to do that, you can always modify it. Or even if you did do that and you want to change it, you can modify that. I put a little script in there, and then we made our auto-scaling group. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, you've been a wonderful audience, and I wish you all the best, and have a nice day, and happy computing to you.